President goes into the weekend, though, before Christmas with a big win. He got that huge tax cut that he wanted. He may not sign the Republican deal until January, but it's a win, a much-needed win for the president and the Republican leadership on the Hill. Let's hear from both sides. Howard University political science professor Michael Fauntroy joins us, along with Rick Holzer, local businessman and supporter of President Trump. Rick, I want to start with you. A lot of your money's in real estate, so you're not going to see what a lot of your colleagues and other corporate people are going to see. But why is this such a deal, and what are they going to do with that money?
Well, I think I will see some relief. The pass-through for LLCs is in this bill, and that's huge for the small real estate investor. I think people hate this bill because they picture big corporate America getting all the relief in this bill, and that's just not true. First of all, on the individual side, everybody saves in this bill. The Tax Policy Center, which is a nonpartisan center, has shown that everybody but 5% of Americans will save on this tax plan, all but the most highest tax states. And if you have a lot of vacation homes and whatnot, if you're already rich, you're not going to save. But on the individual side, you will definitely save.
Michael, most people are going to see a tax cut. It's hard to argue with somebody who's giving you money back.
Well, yes, but we also have to know that the individual tax cuts are temporary while the corporate tax cuts are permanent. That's very significant. And more significant than that is the impact this is going to have on the federal deficit, okay? $1.5 trillion over the next decade from a party that has said repeatedly, at least over the course of the last generation or so, that deficit reduction is a core value. That same group has put together a budget package, a tax deal rather, that's going to explode the federal deficit and has put the idea that they're serious about deficit
some people thought
reduction.
they'd never see this. Democrats arguing
right.
about the deficit and Republicans adding to the deficit. It used to be flipped, right?
Well, it used to be flipped, but at the same time, President Clinton, under his administration, reduced the deficit to zero, and then it took off again under Republican leadership. So we got a real problem in the out years.
It took off under Obama. He doubled the
Rick, what happened
debt.
to the deficit hawks, though? I mean,
I think they took a small vacation for the greater good. This package is the greater good. This package is going to spur a whole new age of entrepreneurs in this country.
Somebody argues that at one point
because the tax cut is so huge on the corporate side. When I say corporate side, not just big corporations, small businesses too. They all feel it.
That money's going to trickle down, more jobs, more wages, not into robots.
Because it's different than the Reagan tax cuts. These are tax cuts for business, and that's why.
Listen, we have this in microcosm. A few years ago, Kansas went under Republican control, governor and legislature. They cut taxes all across the board in a variety of different ways, individual and corporate. And next thing you know, they had to come back and raise taxes because they did not have enough money to do the things that they were committed to doing. And I'm not certain that the bet that is being made now is going to be any different for America than it was for Kansas.
Let me ask you guys something. So what happens next year? Big win, okay. Republicans needed this desperately. The president needed this win. So what's next? Infrastructure?
Yes.
You would need bipartisan support for that, right? Are you likely to get that? Is there money for an infrastructure measure at this point?
That's a good question, but I think they're going to work on infrastructure, and I think they definitely have to address Obamacare, because part of this tax plan was the repeal of the mandate.
The president said they killed Obamacare with this tax plan.
And he did, because the repeal of the mandate, the mandate was a tax on the poor, and repealing the mandate is going to collapse this. What's left of Obamacare.
I got you, but Obamacare is still there.
Right.
Yes. A lot of the provisions of Obamacare is. So the president misspoke.
He did misspoke, but they are going to have to
infrastructure,
work on it.
Is that a possibility?
Well, I don't know. Speaker Paul Ryan is talking about entitlement reform with welfare. And so, you pass these bills, you set up, you move through your agenda, but ultimately in November of next year, we're going to find out whether or not the voters accept that agenda. And I think that the deficit issue, the squirrely things that are going to happen with this tax cut may not necessarily.
I need you guys comment on what UN did today, but I need to ask you this also. Does this help the president with the vote? Get his poll numbers up? It's going to get his poll numbers up? You think so?
So he's going to go from what, 36 to 38? I mean, everything is relative.
Okay. Anybody surprised?
Famous last words, but the poll.
Anybody surprised by the action in UN today? I mean, despite the president's threat, we're going to take our money back if you vote against us. They voted against us, including Britain, Japan,
That's
Germany.
Donald Trump being Donald Trump, but the truth is we voted a long time ago to move the embassy to Jerusalem. That's the capital of Israel.
Yeah.
That's where we
But
should be.
we're past it.
When did we vote? Who voted on
Under
this?
Clinton, it was done.
Does the
It was-
president? Does the president?
House and Senate unanimously voted in the 90s.
Take
under
me
Clinton, and
out with
Clinton
this. Will the
did
president?
not sign that
Will the president
into
follow
law.
up on his threat? Will he
And
cut funds?
all the
to
other
these countries?
presidents kicked
Will the
it
president
down
cut
the
funds to these
Yes.
countries?
No.
He will try.
Listen,
He'll try.
Congress appropriates the money. So if Congress puts it in the budget, the president will spend
And
it.
who's controlling the Congress right now?
All right, gentlemen, thanks a lot. To be continued.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right.
Happy holidays.
You got to click